If Helldivers 2 has taught me anything, we need more games where the entire premise is behind you and a bunch of your buddies being absolute idiots in some of the most dire and terrifying situations. Helldivers 2 is probably one of the most fun games I've played within the last 10 years. It doesn't take itself serious. Most of the jokes in it are just pure satire on real life things like democracy, and that's what makes it so good. It's a game that doesn't take itself serious, but it throws you into a semi-serious situation, and it does it in a way that is just, well, extremely epic. You get to land on a variety of different worlds with different biomes, fighting bugs and robots, and apparently other factions are going to be coming later in the game. But overall, the goal of the game is still to just have fun. It isn't meant to be competitive. There really isn't a meta. Now, obviously, there are certain things that work better against certain enemy types, and to be frank, on the higher tier difficulties, you will need some of the better gear, but for the most part, you can just kind of hop in and just play. And I think that's just the best feeling about the game overall. Unlike most modern video games where everything is about being sweaty and competitive, having a meta, you know, what's broken and what isn't broken, Helldivers 2 just allows you to have fun. It's a simple game. You get in, you go to different worlds, kill some robots, kill some bugs, and that's it. That's the whole premise. The way I look at it is like this. If the biggest complaint about your game currently is the fact that people can't log on because so many people want to play your game, you know, I think that's kind of a W on paper. Now, obviously, being a consumer that paid money for this game, it does suck not being able to play the game, obviously, but at least it isn't necessarily related to the fact that the servers themselves are bad. It's just straight up way too many people are trying to play this fun game. I have fun with randoms, I have fun with friends, I have fun solo. Like, there's so many different options on how to have fun in the game, and you don't even have to do the hardest difficulties to have the most fun. If you're a new player jumping in for the first time, you can pretty much start all the easy difficulties and still have a blast, in my opinion. They can still get chaotic, they can still get a little crazy, especially for a new player. Other games in recent times like Power World and Lethal Company also give you the same premise. You squad up with a bunch of your homies doing a bunch of fun, dumb things in a fun, dumb world or universe or whatever, but the goal is to have fun. Now, obviously, something like Power World, which is apparently going to be adding PvP at some point, you know, that's not exactly one-to-one with something like Helldivers or Lethal Company per se. Since those games are strictly PvE, the thought there is still the same. The goal of the game is to just have as much fun as possible, either by yourself or with friends. And this is something that a lot of AAA companies are struggling to do right now. In a world with a ton of microtransactions and battle passes and seasons and a whole bunch of extra things you got to pay for after you've already paid for the game, it's kind of refreshing just to have a game where I buy the game, I boot the game up, and I get everything that the game offers me right off the rip. Now, obviously, with Helldivers 2, there are different versions of the game. There's the $40 version of the game, and there's the $60 version of the game, with the $60 one giving you a few more extra things in a quote-unquote battle pass, which in my opinion is just a glorified upgrade tree pretty much. But you still have to earn the in-game currency to even get some of those items. You don't just get them for free right off the rip, and none of the items in the quote-unquote premium version of the game are better than what you get in the base game. In fact, some of the best guns in the game are in fact in the actual just base game. You don't even remotely need to feel like you're missing out on something if you don't get the $6 version of the game. Now, the only reason I would get the $6 version is strictly because I actually like this dev team. They're communicative, they're supportive, and they're very, very active with their community, and I have no problem paying for it. On top of the fact that they're not one of the dev studios trying to push the $69.99 price tag for their modern game, unlike some of the other studios out there. Now, it might be a little ironic coming from a guy who likes to play Call of Duty and a whole other bunch of different modern video games, sure. It is ironic. I enjoy playing games like COD just because I've always been a Call of Duty fan, and for the most part, I enjoy making Call of Duty content, so I don't really have a problem paying for them. But the reason why I bought Helldivers isn't because of the fact that I can make content on the game. That doesn't even matter. I enjoy playing this game off stream, off recording, or just with some of my homies that aren't really big into try-harding in video games. Like, it's just a game I can have fun with no matter what I do. And I will say, man, the microtransactions in this game truly are micro. There's a credit store where you can buy things with credits you earn in game. You can also buy credits with your real world money, but for the most part, nothing in this credit store, at least not yet anyway, is something that you have to feel like you need to get. A lot of the items in the base game are very similar to the items in the actual credit store. Like, they're basically the same things, just in some different colors and different options. I don't know if there are going to be better perks eventually in the credit store. Hopefully we don't go down that route, but for the time being, everything you want in the game can still just be found in the base game that you pay $40 for. You can only pay $40 for this game and get the most content imaginable, like, regardless. And can I just say, this is probably one of the friendliest communities in gaming that I've ever seen, honestly. Now, I've been a big, huge fan of trash talk in video games, but it is nice to have a PvE game where you can just play with other people and they're not treating you like trash. Again, I like trash talking competitive video games. When it comes to like PvE games, like Destiny or something like this, it is nice not to get called a shitter because I don't have the right gun or the right quote unquote meta or whatever. You know, I just have fun with the game. I'm here to play, you know? The community is very well in on jokes about liberty and freedom and democracy. And every TikTok that I posted or every short, it's nothing but just memes in the comment sections. Everybody's comparing themselves to real life soldiers or veterans and just having a blast with it. And generally, it's just a breath of fresh air, man. It's nice to have a community of people that are just having fun with the game and riding along these jokes and just not taking it so seriously, because gaming has just become so serious in the minds of many people. Now, that could be because of a variety of things. Content creation is more popular than it ever was before. We've got esports. You know, there are a lot of different factors that kind of play into it. Everything's accessible now, so if you see somebody doing something really fun and crazy in their content, you kind of probably want to replicate that in a way. So that's why games themselves have just gotten a whole lot sweatier over time. It is a little unfortunate, but at the same time, that's just human nature. People are going to be competitive no matter what. So I don't really blame them for that. But again, I will say it is nice that we have a game that meets that median, that area where I just want to play a game with my friends and not have to think about it, not have to try hard, not have to sweat, and not have to pertain to a very particular meta. Again, bravo to Arrowhead Studios for this beautiful, beautiful game. I'm having a blast with it. My friends are having a blast with it. And I just can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in the future for the game. I've heard there's going to be some crazy content updates for the game at some point in the future, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to keep making Helldiver 2 content on this channel. This channel has originally been focused around Star Wars content, strategy games, single player games here and there. But for the first time, I think, in this channel's history, I'm going to be heavily branching out specifically into Helldiver content. I'm still going to be doing my Star Wars content, but Helldivers is basically going to be a mainstay on this channel moving forward. And if you made it to the end of this video, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay that I had up. It was just some random gameplay with my friends from earlier today. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more gaming content, and as I tell everybody in my Star Wars videos, I hope you all have a beautiful day. May the Force be with you all. Have a great day. Peace.